Hey there, coffee heads, it's Coffee Queen, and this is another episode of Confessions of a Coffee Junkie. There are so many ways to get the best experiences out of a cup of coffee and the best qualities out of a cup of coffee. And I had the pleasure of tasting a very special coffee the other day. The Kenya AA was roasted by Mr. Barista on Duty himself, and he sent it to me, and over time it kind of got me thinking about what the terms complexity and balance mean in a cup of coffee. Yes, a cup of coffee in a region, and even perhaps your special roast or your bag of coffee in your kitchen can both be complex and balanced, all in one cup, all in the same bag. So what I did was I actually tasted this coffee over different preparations, because preparations may even play, the different types of preparations may play a major role in what qualities are brought to the forefront of your coffee. And let's just kind of go over really what's complexity in a coffee. And I'm gonna make it a little light here. Complexity in a coffee, or the term complexity as applied to coffee, is basically the overall resonance that you get in a cup of coffee, the different experiences at different moments in time. How do they surprise you? Maybe how do they arouse your interest? How do they peak? How do they change over the duration of a cup, over the duration of whether coffee was roasted today and maybe tasted 10 days from now? How does rest versus no rest play into how that coffee tastes? And so basically complexity is what you experience, the different taste characteristics, the many flavors, the different things that are brought to the forefront that you experience on your tongue, on your palate, when you're tasting a cup of coffee over the course of that cup. So to describe the balance, I like to kind of think of it in terms of a marriage. Not one quality overwhelms another quality. How well do they marry well? How do they marry well together in a cup of coffee to maybe pique your interest, to arouse you, and to stimulate you to think, okay, I want more of this coffee, and I want it on a daily basis perhaps. So let's talk a little bit about the Kenya AA in general. And I've got so many notes on this coffee. I really enjoyed it. But just a quick synopsis overall. It's the dry aroma in general was a little bit more chocolatey caramel tones. The wet aroma featured some berry and citrus notes. And the overall taste of the quality had certain elements of citrus, berries, chocolate, lemon. So those four things just in general, the citrus, berries, chocolate, lemon, make the Kenya AA a little bit complex. But how it is experienced over the course of the cup of that coffee, and when those four elements come out, is how we apply the term balance. So first up, when we first tasted this coffee, we prepared it in a French press, coarse grind of course, 4-minute prep. And the dry aroma then was a buttery caramel, had a hint of licorice in it. And the wet aroma was a honeyed almond, a praline. If you're from down south like me, if you're from the dirty south, then you know exactly what a praline is. It's kind of a warm, buttery almonds and peanut butter almost, and you want it to melt in your mouth, and that's the wet aroma that I got from this Kenya AA. It had chocolate undertones in the taste actually, and surprisingly it wasn't as thin. This is the French press prep, and I'm actually gonna show you something you should know you should know what a French press looks like, but if not, here is what a French press looks like. But this is what we prepared it in. But surprisingly, it wasn't as caramelly in the taste as it was in the wet aroma. And of course, sometimes you know how you can almost eat with your with your nose, and maybe want to do that. And beyond that, it still had an elegant, nutty earthiness to the taste of the coffee, which was very pleasant. But it still had those citrus notes. It was bright, clean, and featured some winey elements to it. And overall, we can describe the French press preparation as a citrusy cup throughout that was eclipsed by chocolate undertones, and as it cooled, more of the berry notes emerged. So the second prep, and I normally probably wouldn't have even tried it in this, and I'm actually enjoying the leftovers right now. But normally I probably wouldn't prepare this kind of coffee in this, but I did kind of off of an experimental edge, I guess. But I used the Fin filter, and if you guys have seen some of Barista on Duty's videos on how to properly use it, the timing and the tightening and the loosening in the water, and how long to steep the coffee in here, check out that video. I posted a link here on the blog page specifically just about that, preparing in the Fin filter. But here in the Fin, I prepared the Kenya AA as a fine grind, and overall it was much more of the chocolate notes and the nuttier notes and the more earthy notes came through in this this Fin filter. And it was very pleasant to smell and to smell and taste the coffee at the same time with the caramel aroma. And it also had, of course, a bit of the citrus notes, kind of a citrus blast in the finish. Kind of you get the chocolate notes and nutty notes, and then you finish it with a citrus blast. That was kind of paired with almonds and chocolate. So that's very interesting and exciting to taste. And of course, I love coffee. So, okay, last way that I prepped this coffee, and I did it in the pour over, which yours may look different. There's so many different variations to how a pour over looks, but this is how mine looks. And I did it twice. The first time I did it, the wet aroma was still a little bit caramelly. It had more of the floral elements, nectar and honeysuckle is what I smelled in the wet aroma. It still seemed like a very balanced coffee, things to experience over the duration of the cup, and it didn't seem to jump out in that pour over at first. Then I realized there was a hint of pear in the finish, and as it cooled, it got a little bit more fruity. But I realized the second time around I tried it in the pour over that this coffee needed a little bit of rest to experience what the pour over would give it. Now, do you necessarily have to use the pour over? No. But this is kind of even explaining further how the different elements of coffee can be experienced in different types of preparation, and over time that the coffee is in existence. So the second time I had it in the pour over, it had a little bit more rest. It had much more intense fruity, dark fruit and berry notes. And about halfway through, more of the chocolate kind of came out. It emerged. But in general, overall, the Kenya AA, it proves to be a very balanced cup, but it has a pleasant, balanced complexity to it. And it's a pleasant twist of the unexpected and surprises that are welcomed, and it would be a great Christmas gift, or something to bring around the family during the holidays. Definitely pair it with one of your favorite pies, maybe a pumpkin pie. I think that would be awesome, or a sweet potato pie. I love sweet potato pie, and I think that would be very great to enjoy with sweet potato pie. But that's all I have on Kenya AA and complexity. I hope I didn't get too strategic on you, because I can get a little analytical. As creative as I am, I can get a little analytical sometimes. So hope you understood that. Complexity and balance. Yes, you can have both balance and complexity in a cup, but you can also experience very different things. And see you later.